What's up guys, and welcome to this Sunday League team on FIFA 13. Now before I start this video, I want to say a quick thanks to UT Coin Traders. They're a very cheap and reliable source to buy your FIFA coins from. So let's move on to this squad. I have been asking you guys on Twitter which players in real life I should use in this squad to make it a very stereotypical Sunday League squad. For example, there's always that pacey guy on the wing who's literally looks like a stick. You've got that goalkeeper who always wants to score goals and tries to play on pitch as well. So we're going to go for the team. I've got a full squad and a full starting 11 and subs bench as well. So let's move on to the squad. The goalkeeper is going to be Rogerio Ceni to sort of replicate the player that the goalkeeper that always wants to play on pitch and try and score goals and always comes up for obviously corners and stuff like that. So that's him. The two centre-backs are going to be Mertesacker, because there's always that slow, huge guy at the back who's just literally is just like a brick. And I was going to use Ferdinand as well, but he's going to be on the subs bench, so we'll come back into that very, very soon. Someone suggested I should use David Luiz, because David Luiz, basically he was just saying how there's always that guy that just hoofs it at the back, whenever the ball just comes near him, just absolutely hoofs it, and also tries to just take on every single player. And someone suggested I should use David Luiz to replicate that guy. So moving on to the right back. Now the right back is going to be Bosingwa. Now the reason Bosingwa's on the pitch, and this is literally what someone said, Bosingwa, because he doesn't give a shit, and there's always one player on the pitch that honestly just doesn't give a flying fuck about whatever's happening on the pitch, and they literally just want to go home and probably play a bit of FIFA. So the left back is going to be Andre Santos, because he honestly looks like he should, doesn't look like he should be on the bench, but he just should be on the bench. There's always just one player that just should be on the bench, and obviously be filled in for another player. So the two centre mids, the first one is going to be Joey Barton. Now the reason I've got him in this team is because there's always that one player on the team that is always going to give a bit of lip to the referee, always going to go in harder than anyone else in challenges, and really try and just ruffle up a few of the feathers of the other team and really try and piss people off. That's the main aim of that player. The next player is going to be Bradley. And it's going to replicate sort of the player that's only in the team because he's the manager's son, and that happens a lot in football. There's always usually they are the captain as well, so obviously thought I'd put Bradley in there because apparently he only got into the national side because his dad was the manager. So the right mid is going to be Robben, because there's always going to be that one guy on the pitch who just never passes, and obviously Robben is a pretty good example of that. Even though he is a world-class player, he just rarely passes and obviously tries to do things on his own. So the left mid is going to be Nani, because there's always that one guy on the pitch who thinks he is Ronaldo, and if I'm honest, that's Nani. And there's always that guy that always wears vapors on the wing, tries to just run up and down and skill every single person. Most time it fails, but sometimes it can work, depends how good they are, I guess. So moving on to the two strikers then, the striker is going to be, we've actually got Peter Crouch as the first one, mainly because there's always that really, really tall guy at the striker position who the team just absolutely hoof it to and try and use him for headers and just use him to sort of just knock balls down to, and so other people can run on and try and score. And then the next striker is going to be a bronze striker, just to replicate the player which can absolutely sprint past people with the ball but has absolutely no finishing whatsoever and will always miss, but can get past any single player just because he's incredibly fast. So let's move on to the subs bench and let's look at the players who we're going to be using to replicate some other players. So in the subs bench, the first one I think we have is going to be, let me check here, we've got Ferdinand, just to replicate another absolute unit at the back, and then I'm pretty sure we have got Emenike, because there's always that guy on the team who just looks like he's like, the reason I'm using Emenike for this is because obviously people think of him as a really hench player and just someone who can just run past everyone, and there's always that player on the team who just looks like he should be 5 years above and be playing like under 21 football rather than playing under 15s or under 16s. So that is going to be in there for him. The next player is going to be, I think we are going to be using Anikdote, just because he just, I don't know, I was watching the game against Liverpool and he just seemed to try and foul and foul and foul. So he's going to be another one of them players that just tries to foul and obviously, you know, try and win the referee over, I guess you could say. So the next player is going to be another player like that, which is actually going to be Steve Catamol. Now this was someone which I really was kind of hesitant about, wanting to choose over Joe Barton, but I just had to use Joe Barton because, you know, the amount of times that he has just you know, been in the media about doing something in a football match, it's ridiculous, and you know, I definitely did need to use him in the squad. Sorry, I should have just put in centre mid as the thingy, but I've gone through all of them. So yeah, Steve Catamol is going to be in that spot. The next spot is going to be filled by, I will just do it differently this time, and put in the position. It's going to be Downing. It's going to be the guy that just always shoots but never scores, and that is, you know, I can think of someone myself actually in Sunday League football who I could replicate that to. The next player as well is going to be another pacey guy, and I think you probably would have seen it when I put in right wing, but it is going to be Theo Walcott, of course, because he is just incredibly pacey and can just run and run and run, let's be honest. So the final player in this team is going to be filled by, let me try and find him. It's going to be embarrassing if I can't find him now. Can we find him? Who did I can't even remember who I put in the squad. But I think it might have been Morales, because it was the guy I don't know what this guy plays like in real life, but he has the stats and looks like kind of like a Messi-esque player on FIFA. So I put him in just to be the player that kind of just thinks he's Messi and is trying to, you know, do Messi-esque things all the time. So that is going to be the end of the video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, then as always, feel free to drop a like on the video. I don't really think there's any point in putting gameplay, because, you know, this team is just clearly here for just, you know, just for a bit of a laugh. So if you do want me to put some gameplay in, you know, in the future for videos like this, please let me know. I've got a pretty good squad coming out tomorrow, which is kind of similar to this, so let me know. If this is 2,000 likes, I will upload it tomorrow. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, hope you all enjoyed the video, and peace.